Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video giving my thoughts. Absolutely crazy, insane news. AMC is being sued yet again, this time by some of the producers, including even the creator of The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman, in what could total over $1 billion in damages. That's with a B. You heard it right, man, and it's no joke. I'll put the link in the description to the HollywoodReporter.com so you guys can go ahead and check this one out. This is for real. This is some crazy stuff. So here's what it says. Walking Dead producers claim massive AMC profit scam in new lawsuit. Robert Kirkman, Gale Anne Hurd, Glen, Mazzara, and David Alpert follow Frank Darabont in suing over the blockbuster zombie series, and potential damages could reach $1 billion. This is insane news, man. Absolutely crazy. It says this case arises from a major entertainment conglomerate's failure to honor its contractual obligations to the creative people, the talent, in industry jargon, behind the wildly successful and hugely profitable long-running television series The Walking Dead. Opens the complaint filed Monday in Los Angeles Superior Court. The defendant AMC entities exploited their vertically integrated corporate structure to combine both the production and the exhibition of The Walking Dead, which allowed AMC to keep the lion's share of the series' enormous profits for itself and not share it with the plaintiffs as required by their contracts. Here's the full complaint. The claims are breach of contract, tortious interference, and unfair or fraudulent business acts under California Business Code. Like Darabont's lawsuit, the plaintiffs are questioning the amount paid by AMC Network to AMC Studios arm for the right to air the show. Because the companies are affiliated with each other, what's seen on Walking Dead profit participation statements are imputed license fees, meaning a stand-in figure that doesn't really mean the money has actually physically changed hands. During the first 4 seasons of The Walking Dead, AMC was imputing a fee of $1.45 million per episode. That's now up to $2.4 million, but is still less than the non-imputed license fees of Better Call Saul, a Breaking Bad spinoff, and Mad Men, which are produced by non-affiliated Sony and Lionsgate, respectively, and don't command NFL primetime type ratings as The Walking Dead does. There can be no question if AMC Studios and AMC Network were not part of the same conglomerate, the story would be very different, states the complaint, later adding those substantial license fees for Mad Men and Breaking Bad continued in seasons 5 and beyond, even though their ratings were a fraction of The Walking Dead's. And while the AMC Network only obtained a limited number of playdates for those series as part of comparatively higher license fees it paid for them, both on television and its affiliated websites, the AMC entities unilaterally took for themselves the right to run an unlimited number of runs of The Walking Dead in perpetuity on all AMC platforms. And we've seen that, reruns, they play it in the future, of course. In their own lawsuit, Darabont and his CAA agents are leaning on financial experts to make the case that the series should be imputing up to $30 million per episode, which over 7 seasons would represent a staggering amount of money that AMC isn't booking in revenue. Oh man, this is really, really crazy stuff. So Kirkman, Hurd, Mazzara, and Alpert haven't yet gotten to the point of suggesting what the precise imputed license fee should be, but it's only a matter of time. So, okay, and apparently they're supposed to get a percentage. So Kirkman whose deal entitles him to 5% of profits of The Walking Dead. It's crazy to think he only gets 5%, right? Came to what his attorneys say was a related party provision that guaranteed that AMC transactions with affiliated companies would be on monetary terms comparable to transactions with non-affiliated companies, which they have not been. Alpert, who got 2.5% of the profits, Hurd, who got 7.5%, and Mazzara, who took over Darabont's role as showrunner for a couple seasons, got 1.5%. So then it says each cite provisions in their own deals, including most favored nations clauses that allegedly amounted to protection from AMC self-dealing. And then in response, an AMC spokesperson says, these kinds of lawsuits are fairly common in entertainment, and they all have one thing in common. They follow success. Virtually every studio that has had a successful show has been the target of litigation like this, and The Walking Dead has been the #1 show on television for 5 years in a row now. So this is no surprise. We have enormous respect and appreciation for these plaintiffs, and we will continue to work with them as partners even as we vigorously defend against this baseless and predictably opportunistic lawsuit. Okay, so let's give our thoughts now. Link will be in the description. You guys can comb through that as you want to and come together with your own thoughts. So here's what it sounds like is going on. Frank Darabont, of course, sued AMC for what we heard somewhere around $280 million due to what happened with him being fired from the series, and this whole lawsuit, which is now in the summary judgment phase. So it's not done yet, but it's getting close, to finishing up. It sounds like from what's going on here that he may have actually done the others a huge favor, which is to shine a light on some of the kind of questionable accounting things that were going on with AMC with regards to The Walking Dead, and now the others are basically realizing that, hey, we're going to sue too. This is This is really, really crazy news because, of course, Robert Kirkman, no one could be more involved with The Walking Dead than him. It's his baby overall. If you want to say anybody, it's his, right? He created it, from nothing. And even though other people have definitely helped create the TV series version or contributed to it, if it's anybody's, it's Kirkman's first and everyone else's afterwards. So this is really nut stuff that could total over $1 billion. So to explain, because there's a lot of jargon in here, which is pretty difficult to follow, exploited their vertically integrated corporate structure. So you have AMC Network and you have AMC Studios, an arm for the right to air the show. So they're imputing. Okay, so here's what it sounds like to me, and I'm not a lawyer, but so take it for what it's worth. This is what I'm reading from the article. You have the two sections of AMC here that are involved with this situation. You have AMC Network, you have AMC Studios. They impute an amount that they believe it's probably worth, and it says here $1.45 million per episode earlier on. Now it's $2.4 million. So they're imputing that fee to sort of, I guess, represent what it's worth, and then paying everybody their percentages based on that imputed fee. But it sounds like that imputed fee is way lower than it should be because 1.5 million per episode for The Walking Dead. Like, come on, man. Are you serious? Like, are you kidding me? Especially at this point. So I hate to, give my thoughts on this, of course, because this is a legal situation stuff. So we got to be careful what we say. But this does not sound good. I mean, it's crazy to think that Kirkman and the others would want to sue AMC because some of them still work there. Like, some of them are still, or maybe they all are, except for Glen Mazzara, are, still working on the show, even for season 8 and onwards. So it's really crazy to hear that they would make this decision, and I wouldn't think they would make it if they weren't absolutely certain that they were getting screwed. Here's the problem, and this is like, I'm a good person. I like to think that other people are good people and that they do what's right and they do what's honest and truthful. And if someone does a job for you, you pay them. If you agree, okay, we're going to pay you 5% of profits. It's like your profit sharing. You better get your accountants on it. You better have a quality person check the regular accounting. You're going to have a system here to make sure that, you're not just making up numbers. You got it. Like, you can't, if you have two different sections, you're going to say, okay, well, we figure it's worth about $1.5 million. It's like, what? How, So I get it. That's the thing. It's like they're going to say, well, we think it's worth this much. But in reality, it could be like worth a lot more. So that's where this gets to be really crazy, man. It's like, what is AMC doing? I mean, this is not the type of thing that you would expect to hear about from a huge conglomerate like this, a huge entertainment, network and everything. You would not expect to hear this kind of thing from that they would have some kind of representative value, which is kind of like probably not even close to a good representation of what it probably should be. So, if that is the case, if they really have been kind of be like, okay, well, so you got the two and you say, well, okay, we figure it's worth about this much. So we'll pay this section, right, this much. And then you guys are affiliated with this section, so you get, part of that. It's like, huh. So this is something that you would not expect, in terms of like scam is like, you would not expect to see that from a company that's that big. You would not expect to see them, screwing people and not giving them what probably is a better representative figure for the show, than that and everything that it entails. So that is really crazy, man. Is it going to affect the show? If it's 100% true, and damn, man, I mean, you can really see that. Like, if you look at that and you think, okay, well, we're going to say it's worth this much, and we're going to pay this, this section this much for licensing and imputed fees, and then they're going to get a percent. That's just like, like what? Like that sounds so like he's thinking Frank Darabont and his team are like, okay, probably 30 million. And then, what they're actually getting is like 1.5 million. It's like, really? Oh, man, it's just, so, it sounds like they'll have to go through it. They'll have to see, in terms of the numbers, what it actually ends up being. And, oh, man, that is just some crazy, crazy stuff, man. So you guys can write your comments below. I personally am kind of disappointed. You just can't do that. You gotta, you can't just make up a number. You gotta have it be actually representative of what it should, you got to be fair. You got to be fair. That's not right, man. I mean, if that's so, I don't know, man. That's really crazy. So, of course, as we see the whole thing shake down, I'll let you guys know how it turns out. If people are going to probably ask right away, as they did with the Frank Darabont lawsuit, is it going to affect the show? Is it going to affect AMC as a network? Well, if it ends up being over $1 billion, I don't see how it couldn't affect it. So let's hope it all works out and it'll all be okay, and that maybe there's no basis for it, and that all the numbers, work out so that, it's all fine. But it sure doesn't sound like that's going to be the case. So, my goodness, there must be some effect on the show. So, of course, these things take a few years. I'll let you guys know when we find out more about how this all shakes down, more news about it over time. But I just can't believe it. I'm just dumbfounded. It's just crazy to think that that would be going on. And it really makes a lot of sense that you would have people sue, even if they're still working there or working with them. Still, it's like, well, did they get what they were supposed to get? Did they get a true percentage of what it's actually worth, or did they just get a percentage of a figure that you decide to license to yourself, self-dealing? That's crazy, man. So write a comment below. Let me know what you guys think about this one. Check out the article for sure. Read it through if you guys are interested. And if you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can also share and favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, I'd appreciate it. You can subscribe at the bottom left. That's pretty much all my thoughts on this one, guys. I cannot believe it. I'll see you guys again soon. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.
You better subscribe.